All right, welcome back to Brickhouse Pizza and Wings. I'm Ryan Goodwin here along with Teddy Steinberg today, and we're here with Keene State ice hockey coach Bobby Rodriguez. We're talking with some of the winter sport coaches today as, believe it or not, it was 80-something degrees today, but we're going to be getting into winter sports soon.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like winter today, does it?
No, it doesn't. Anyhow, as we get started, first question would be, what was your introduction like to Keene State?
You know, we had a great first season. We were, we had set some goals for the team, academically, athletically, fundraising-wise, and the team. We've got a great group of young men, and they smashed every goal we set for them. So, I think winning 13 games in the first season is kind of unprecedented for a first-year program like we did. We know it's going to be harder this year with the conference starting up, but the guys are motivated, they're excited, and they were just so much fun. I can't say enough about the year we had last year.
Yeah, and you graduated from Keene State, correct?
Yes, I'm an alum.
And now you're back coaching.
Yep.
What does that feel like?
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, you know, I've been so fortunate, you know, as an alum to work for an alum who works for an alum. You know, Marty and I were actually here at Keene State at the same time. And you know, he was an awesome athlete and an awesome guy when we were here as students. So you know, when the college was adding the programs and the opportunity popped up to be able to potentially coach the team, one of the driving factors for me was the fact that Dr. Treadwell is the president here and that Marty was the athletic director. Like, I couldn't ask for a better situation, for sure.
You were obviously the club hockey coach, too, for a number of years before taking over the helm last year of the men's ice hockey team. What was that like? You know, what were some of the differences between coaching in club and coaching in a Division III program last year?
Yeah, you know what? It was great. It was, you know, I had so much fun for so many years doing that. And I still remember that, you know, when the club team first started getting some traction and being really good, people kept saying, hey, you know, what about going varsity? What do you think? And I said, you know, it'll never happen. Like, it's not going to happen. But, you know, what we got is great. Let's do it. And now, you know, to have the men's and the women's varsity teams in addition to the club team, like, this is a perfect location for it. Like, the campus, the community, the downtown, the rink, it's perfect for it. I think Keene is very quickly becoming a hockey town. The youth hockey program keeps growing, which has been feeding the high school team. The high school team is going to be really strong again this year. So, like, it's exciting to be part of a really awesome and exciting, like, growing young hockey community. It's great to be part of that.
Yeah, and with the growing hockey community, especially here in Keene, the logo is now right on center ice.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already made many additions to Keene Ice. You know, the booth for us, where we can talk to you after the new locker rooms, the whole tunnel. It's been a great impact here, especially having this team.
Yeah, I think you know, for sure the investment the college made. There are a number of schools that have added hockey recently and have done it as sort of an enrollment ploy. Here, the college did it right. Like, the planning from the start was right. You know, we looked at what the budgets should potentially be. The college did its due diligence, and you know, based on the investment they were making, they were able to determine that we could make a legit go of it. We didn't want to embarrass ourselves, and the facility is off the charts. Like the rink is beautiful for sure. The crazy part is the rink's going to be 10 years old next month, and people walk into it and they think it's 2 years old.
Yeah.
So, you know, Mark and his crew and Beth take unbelievable care of the rink, and everyone in this community is so proud of the rink. And you know, the college did it right. The investment was perfect. The facility, like, you know, the press box we've got for you guys upstairs is awesome. The team space is downstairs. We actually had a couple of student athletes here this past yesterday for open house, and we brought them out to tour the club team locker room, the varsity team locker rooms, and truthfully, our club team locker room is better than any other club team locker rooms, and our varsity locker rooms are, I think, second to none, certainly in our conference and among a lot of D3. The college really did it right, so it's exciting. And now, like you mentioned, the new sort of wrinkle this year is that our branding agreement with the arena has kicked in this year. So having our logo at center ice is really nice. Like, it's a really it's a source of pride for us. It's a great recruiting tool. So yeah, it's all great right now.
And to touch back on recruiting, and you also mentioned the open house, you guys have another good-sized freshman class coming in. You did last year, obviously, most of the guys freshmen, but you kind of keep that program growing, especially from around the country, even worldwide.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we brought in 5 new players this year, and one is from right here in New Hampshire. He's a transfer. One is from Maryland. We've got 2 goaltenders we brought in, one from New Hampshire, one from Switzerland, and we brought in a forward from Quebec. So really good mix of a good group of kids. They've been fitting in really well. The returning guys love them. And in our conversations with the new guys, they're loving their experience. They love the campus. They love their classes. Everything's been great. They're still suspicious of the coaching, but but otherwise everything's been great. So
they'll learn.
Yeah, they'll learn. They'll learn. Exactly right.
Being, a new program last year, there were obviously, I think you would expect early in the season some growing pains, but really towards the end, you guys seem to hit your stride. Who are you looking forward to? Or was there a matchup last year that you thought really stood out to you as far as your team's performance?
Yeah, it's interesting that obviously to rattle off the 6 straight at the end of the season was good. It kind of reassured us that the team had sort of arrived. Particularly, the final weekend at Mr. Recordia, we actually didn't play very well, and they still managed to win. And of course, people will tell you that if you're not playing well and still manage to win, then it means you're probably doing things okay. And we were frustrated and angry as coaches during both those games, but to pull off those 2 wins, it was kind of a nice cherry to throw on top of the first season. Honestly, it's some of the losses that we look back at that were kind of the most meaningful to us. The programs that we aspire to, the programs that we're chasing. At Amherst was a pretty good close game. At Plattsburgh and at Buff State were really difficult situations to play in, difficult environments against really strong, really well-established teams. Our guys held up and just kind of, at Plattsburgh, we were down 1-0 with 6 minutes left in the game. It finished 3-0 with an empty netter. Not a lot of teams do that. Amherst was a really strong team, and it finished 5-2. It got away from us at the end, but it was 3-2, midway through the 3rd period, so we felt good about that one. The only real blowout was at Curry. They were number 1 in the country, and there's a reason for that. Their goaltender has now moved on and is playing D1 this year.
Yeah.
And it was kind of unfortunate for us that we're playing the best team in the country on a night that we probably put in our worst effort. Our guys, the coaches down there are friends of mine, and I didn't expect to win the game, but I had hoped that we were going to show better in that game, and I thought people would have maybe taken note of it. And I think our guys picked the wrong night to not show up. So that's a learning lesson also with a young team, right? As we look back on those things, like I said, at Amherst was great, at Buff State was great, at Plattsburgh was great. We played some really good teams. St. Mike's was a really fast team. We beat them in overtime here. Fitchburg won the MASCAC. We went down and when we beat them up here to finish the first semester up here. Down there, excuse me. And then they came up here and beat us. But, we played a pretty decent game with them. There was some special team stuff that came into play on that one. So overall, we did well in the NE10, right? We went 5-0 in the NE10. Those are teams that we're trying to put behind us from a recruiting standpoint. So it was important to do that. Overall, really good stuff.
And you touched earlier, mainly in one of the first few questions, about conference play heading into this year. Obviously, big expectations. You guys really have something to play for now. And also, in-state rival Plymouth, they come to town. What are your expectations for those types of games coming up?
Yeah, it's funny because, I just mentioned, the Amherst, the Plattsburgh, and the Buff State. Our conference has teams like that, like Plym, Norwich, Babson, those teams are wagons, right? And so for us, we love that it's great on the recruiting trail. People know our conference, they know about our conference, they know about our opponents, and they know where we expect to be. So that's really important for us. We're looking forward to it. Plymouth has been a strong team for a really long time. We're chasing them. There's no question about that. We're chasing them. So our goal is to catch them, right? And will it be this year? I don't know. It could be this year. It could be next year. It could be the year after. But we're going to keep working until we do. And, for us, we're really looking forward to not just the fact that the games are going to be more meaningful, for us, every game was meaningful last year, but they were all non-conference games for our opponents, right? And now this year, every game is meaningful, right? We're going to play 18 conference games. The other piece that goes with it is the schedule is very different, right? Since we played an independent schedule last year, we had to take games when we could get them. So it could be a Tuesday night here, a Thursday here. You remember, Mondays, Sundays, you got to take what you can get. And now, we're going to be a Friday, Saturday team, like the rest of college hockey. That's a new grind for us, where it's Friday, Saturday. It's conference games. Like that's going to be an adjustment for our guys. We're looking forward to it. We're excited about it. We're working toward, that kind of goal and that plan of how do we prepare for that.
And those are the types of games, those Fridays, Saturdays, that's when people show up.
Yeah.
Those are the games that people want to come to.
Exactly.
And
And that's what we kept hearing, from a lot of people in the community. The community is really excited about both the men's and the women's teams. And we kept hearing that, it's hard to get to games because you're playing at this day or this time or these times are weird. And they're right. But now, both the men's and women's teams are going to be playing, very largely Friday nights at 7 o'clock, Saturdays at 4 or 5 o'clock. It's a beautiful rink to play in. Yeah. The teams are going to be fun and exciting, so we're looking forward to it.
I'm excited too.
Yeah,
we all
absolutely.
are.
Yeah, definitely really looking forward to it. And you guys had overall a pretty young core to the team last year. What did you see out of them over the course of the season as far as maturities go? I know early on in the year, penalties tended to be at times a problem.
Right. You remember we took way too many penalties early on, and there were some lessons that the guys had to learn along the way. There's also just this bit of, sort of learning each other, learning who each other is. Like they all knew each other because they had played against each other, and they were all good players, but they hadn't played together before. And like this year, I've got 20 plus guys who have played together, and we're mixing 5 guys into that, right? So that adjustment, even for those 5 guys, is going to be better because they're coming into sort of calmer waters. You know what I mean? And in our case, it's funny. I use the example of we just had our golf tournament a couple of weeks ago during homecoming. And even that was more fun and more natural this year. All the guys were there, volunteering and working. And it just, literally last year when we did it, they didn't even really know me yet. You know what I mean? Like they had been recruited. They knew that piece of it. And we had been together. But we didn't really know each other all that well yet. And, it's night and day from last year's golf tournament to this year's golf tournament. So we expect it to be the same. Our team forechecks a little bit differently than a lot of teams. Our team kills penalties a little bit differently than a lot of teams. And they were learning it. It was a brand new forecheck that most of them had never played before. Now I've got 20 plus guys who know it, and I got 5 guys who just have to learn it. And so we're looking forward to that. They got better at not taking penalties along the way. We also changed the way some of the players play. We've got a couple of examples I can think of are guys who, when you look at the guys we brought in, they were all, captains or at the top of the lineup on each of their teams coming here. And now everyone has to have a role. Everyone has to have a place. Things are a little bit different. I'm so fortunate that my coaching staff is unbelievable, right? Like to have all guys who have played for me, all alums who have played here at the college, it's probably unheard of for a first-year program, right? These guys get it. They know it. They know me well, but they were able to motivate the guys, but they were also really patient with the guys. And we had several guys who came in who were thinking all offense when they got here. And then as they adjusted, they became way more responsible defensively. And that was a process for us. Yeah. That was not taking the penalties or not taking as many penalties was a big piece of it. But becoming more consistently responsible defensively is how you stay in these games longer. And as they kind of checked that off their list, they also became really strong offensively as the season wound down. And I think one example that I look at is, the top line we had last year of Chris Afides with Carney and Unger was honestly probably one of the best lines in New England last year. And they were held off the score sheet at Mr. Recordia in the final weekend. So, we managed to, sweep 2 games on the road on a far away from home weekend to finish the season with more balance. And that was one of our kind of goals all the way along, was to get some balanced scoring. It was a process, though, to get these guys to kind of buy into their roles, be more responsible defensively, be more disciplined, certainly on the penalty side. And then they showed up and they rewarded us, so it was great.
Yes.
And working back to that leadership aspect you were talking about, you guys kind of have a similar leadership group this year with a little bit new additions.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we started, we've got 2 seniors who were transfers here from Franklin Pierce, and they were the guys who had, like, legitimate, NCAA hockey experience coming into it, so they were natural choices for us to be captains. Declan and Peyton are both going to finish out their careers here this year. Declan's the captain of the team again this year. Peyton's one of the alternate captains. As the season started out, it became obvious to us very quickly that Sean McBride and Marcus Christofides are 2 guys who lead by example, who the players look up to. They lead on the ice and off the ice. And, we had about 20 freshmen. It was important that they have a voice in the room. And so, us naming those guys as captains, I think also helped to kind of stabilize things and really kind of establish how the team was going to operate. And it's paid off for us already this year. Like right out of the gate, the guys are doing their optional team lifts, their optional stick time practices, and the flex practices they have with us. And these 4 guys have got the group dialed in, so it's been good.
Yeah, first year, obviously this year in the OEC. You got about a month till games start, but what is your maybe hope for this team this season?
Yeah, so it's interesting because the Little East coaches, our men's hockey coaches in the Little East, are resolute, and we are absolutely certain that this needs to be an 8-team tournament. And the athletic directors have not supported that. Ours has. But the others have not come on board yet. And so it looks like it's potentially just a 6-team tournament for the first year. I think the athletic directors are going to learn a tough lesson in seeing how that plays out, and they're going to recognize that it needs to be an 8-team tournament. So for us, I think because WestCon is the newest program, we're the second newest program. I think people expect us to be on the outside looking in. So for us, we got to get there. Like for us, like every night in and night out, the goal is how do you get into the top 6? We'd be thrilled to be higher than that, but there are some really, really good teams in this conference. So, for us, that's that. You don't get to take shifts off, you don't get to take periods off, you don't get to take nights off. If you want to stay in the top 6 in this group of strong teams, that's where you have to be. And the examples we look to are Southern Maine is of course a Little East member. Norwich is an affiliate member, but they were both in the NEHC. Southern Maine was the 7th seed and went to Norwich as a number 2 seed and knocked them off 2 years ago. This past year, the experience was MCLA was an 8 seed and went to Plymouth and knocked them off, the top seed in the tournament in the first round. So, as you look at that, like our kind of mantra is you get to the tournament, anything can happen. Yeah. Right. So for us, the goal is, what do we have to do day in and day out to support each other, to get better, and to find ourselves in the top 6.
And you guys only a couple weeks away from your first exhibition.
Yes.
What's the feeling in the locker room? Are you guys excited to go? It's been a good off season, been a while.
Yeah. Honestly, the guys have killed it in the gym. I'll tell you that. They've been great since we gotten back. They're committed. They're motivated. They're a really, really, really fun group. We really focused a ton when we brought these guys in on their character, and I feel like it's paying off. I think when you get into those tough nights and tough grinds, like having character, quality people makes a big difference. Obviously, in the classroom, they're killing it. They had a 3.66 team GPA last semester to lead all the men's teams on campus. It matters to us, right? Community service matters, academic performance matters, fundraising matters. With the support of the coaching staff I've got and the administration we've got here in the athletic department, we feel like we got good things going. So we're excited for this winter.
Yeah, we are more than thrilled to see you guys back on the ice for year 2.
Well, and it'll be great. The boys are excited because they're going to start, and the girls I know are also excited. They're going to start in their team rooms from day 1.
Yeah.
You guys are going to start in the press box from day 1 instead of being on freaking tables out in the middle of the bleachers.
Yeah.
And,
Stadium seats.
Yeah, so it'll be great. We're really excited to get this going.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you guys will open up November 1st, at least at home. That'll be against Franklin Pierce, and it'll be at 5 o'clock too, so a lot earlier of a game than the start last year. It's another advantage year too.
Yeah,
so.
no, the rink has been excellent to work with, and they're taking really, really good care of us in that respect. I think you're going to see the community and the campus are going to be at a lot more men's and women's games because we have so much better, more attractive times this year. First year was kind of some growing pains as we were kind of the new kids on the block at the rink, and they know the excitement, so we're looking forward to it.
Awesome.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Coach.
We're looking forward to seeing you guys at the rink soon.
Same to you, too.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are Keene State. Here, we believe that everyone is welcome and anything is possible.
We're empowering your unique voice.
Igniting potential and possibility.
Look closer. We are a tight-knit community, an inclusive community, where people can be their true selves. Bring your ability, background, culture, or traditions, whatever makes you you.
Because Keene State becomes home from day one. Come find your people and enjoy live music, art, coffee, thrifting, and did we mention the food? And if you're worried about what there is to do on the weekend, just look at this.
Everything we do here is about community.
Because we're a community of intense learners
with extraordinary hearts
that raise each other up.
We are fueled by each other's successes,
learning outside the classroom as well as in.
And we're here to provide the guidance and support you need to succeed.
All right, let's get hands-on.
In the lab.
In the studio.
In the pool.
On the dance floor.
On the stage.
The choices are yours, the opportunities are here.
Here at Keene State College, we're focused on teaching students the skills for an ever-changing world.
I'm ready to tackle problems with industry-ready skills.
You'll get a resume that writes itself and
a paycheck that earns.
Elevated confidence.
World-class courage.
And we never stop learning.
True learning takes collaboration.
We explore what drives our passions.
Celebrate our individual voices.
And spark possibility together.
Every single student, every single day.
You already have what it takes. Welcome to Keene State.
A single thread is unique. Like each of us, full of purpose and potential. A strand designed to connect, strengthen, and unite. But we face different challenges and have different opportunities. By acknowledging that others may struggle in ways we do not, we can celebrate our differences, embrace each other, and fortify the ties among us. A single thread can fray, yet when it's woven with another, a bond forms. A new strength created by the fabric of the whole. Let's embrace the fabric we make together, the diversity of our threads, to reach beyond ourselves and overcome the impossible. The true power of our game comes from unifying our individual backgrounds, connecting our unique stories, enabling us to be stronger, braver, greater. We can achieve so much more when we are all as one.
What a season! The confetti is gonna fall.
There she goes, and she's got it! How sweet is this, and how wonderful for the sport!
We know you will find your community along Appian Way here at Keene State College. Over a campfire on the Student Center lawn. In some friendly games and competition. Or in a club you connect to at the Student Involvement Fair. Maybe you will find your people on the courts, in a cheering section in the stands, at the rink on the ice, skating as an owl, or chilling in the yoga studio. Your connections may take place on the quad, listening to music, hanging out with friends, participating in a Keene State tradition like Pumpkin Palooza, or working on a group project, studying with classmates. Maybe your talents will bring you together with your community on one of our stages, in the main theater, or the recital hall at the Red Fern Arts Center. For us, community is all about the people you meet and the connections you make. At Keene State, our community is really about you.
New Car has over 1,700 pre-owned vehicles, the largest selection of inventory in New Hampshire. New Car Nissan of Keene has the most competitive prices. With a selection of over 30 brands, New Car has exactly what you need across the Granite State. Find your new car from any of New Car's family of dealerships throughout the Northeast and get it shipped to New Car Nissan of Keene for free. Plus, we'll deliver your new car right to your door. Visit New Car Nissan of Keene today and discover why everyone loves a new car.
I worked in HVAC when I was in high school, and I really liked being on a job site. When Keene State came to my high school, the admissions counselor told me I could have a job on a job site and also make a difference on people's lives. He said being a safety engineer meant I could work with my hands, but also make sure that everybody was going to be home safely at the end of the day. The safety field is growing rapidly because companies are noticing that keeping their workers healthy means that they can keep their workers working. My plan is to graduate from Keene State so I can get back onto a job site as a safety engineer. It's great because there's jobs to choose from all over the United States, so I can basically go anywhere I want. Keene State is giving me the tools to make that happen.
Fenton Family Dealerships, the Tri-State area's best selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, has state-of-the-art service facilities and services all makes and models. Home to an exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty at no extra cost to you. Locally owned since 1986. More information at fentondealerships.com.
My name is Irini Stefanakos. I am an environmental studies graduate from Keene State. I did an internship my senior year. The best part for me was learning really what I want to do with my life, with my education. That internship really gave me the confidence and experience to go out and land a job as an aquatic biologist for water and wetlands in Grafton, Massachusetts. I typically spend my days collecting basic water quality data to monitor the health of these ponds and lakes, and it's actually really cool and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Here now with women's basketball coach Keith Boucher. Keith, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. We're at the Brickhouse with a lot of people I don't know, but that's okay. You know what? They support Keene State athletics, and that's what it's all about.
That's all that matters, yeah.
You've been obviously coaching the Keene State women's basketball team for a while, but what was your introduction
We had peach
like?
baskets when I first started.
What was your introduction like though to Keene State?
It was fantastic. I've told the story before, but my first year, I got the job in September, and I had a great senior class, outstanding women. The whole team was great, and we played in the NCAA tournament. First team to ever play in the NCAA. We were Division II at the time. First team to play in the NCAA tournament basketball, men and women. And one of the players on my team is Melinda Treadwell.
Wow.
So, you know, we've come full circle. Melinda ended up being a professor on campus, and then she taught, my son was 2 years old, sitting in the stands when she played as a senior on our team. And then he ended up going to Keene State and having her in class. And he called her Dr. T, and great professor. And I told her, I must be Notre Dame. I told her, I kept telling her that, you know what? Before I leave this place, you are going to become the president of Keene State College. And she was like, shrug it off. I said, no. You know, she got a doctorate at Dartmouth in immunology and toxicology. And I don't think I can spell either one. So, I mean, for me, it's been a great journey. And to have somebody like that on your first, how many people can say they're coach? I think I would win this trivia question on Jeopardy if you asked who is the only coach in the country who coached a player who ended up being president on their campus. I would win that. I'd be the only one that knew.
Was it Dr. Keith Boucher for 500?
What's that?
Keith Boucher for 500.
Oh. And it's the double down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the double down, and I get it. I'm going to miss Melinda. She did a lot for Keene State College as a professor, and then on campus, obviously, and in the community, and I couldn't be proud of her. She was a fantastic. I told the players today. I gave a story about her. It was about 2/3 of the way through the season, and one of our other seniors got hurt. She got hurt on the screen by one of the other seniors. Set of screen. She broke her hand. So she couldn't play. Melinda could have started. She came off the bench. She didn't care as long as she contributed. And she took more joy in what her teammates did, their successes, than her own. So we have to play UMass Lowell. In the first game, we played them at home, and we're Division II. And we were down by 18 points at halftime. And I'm a young coach, and I'm going, you know, the heat's on. Oh, my God, down by 18. We came back, and I think we beat them by like 12 or 15 points. Ryan will have to look it up to find out. But so we play them in the second game, and Renee, when anybody breaks a hand or a finger, it's always on their dominant hand. At least that's the way it seems. Renee couldn't play, and we started Melinda. Well, that night, Melinda scored, I believe, 22 points. She got like 5 rebounds, 3 assists, played great defense. And the coach for UMass Lowell, Kathy O'Neill, was a great person. They were very good. And she kept looking down at me like, you know, who is this person? She was on the team. She must have known. But she was averaging like 5 points at the time. But I think great players come to the forefront when great things are needed. And Melinda was. So what happened was, she kept looking down at me, and it's like, yeah, I released the beast on you, whatever. The next morning, Melinda comes into my office, and she apologizes to me. She goes, Coach, I'm sorry. I think I took too many shots last night. She missed 2 shots in the game. She scored 22 points. I go, Melinda, you could have taken a lot more shots as far as I'm concerned. I said, did you hear teammates complaining? No. I said, oh, moving forward, when you got an open shot, you take it. Because you should be, because you got the ability to play. But, yeah, that's a great memory for me, and I'll never forget it.
And, yeah, you mentioned how, you know, she's worked with the community, obviously on campus as the president, but being on the women's basketball team, her love for athletics, she has grown Keene State athletics, especially women's basketball here as well.
No question. She has been an advocate. You know, some presidents, let's be honest, they think athletics is a necessary evil. We have to have. Can you imagine being on a campus with no athletics? I mean, no. I'm sorry, and I'm probably going to upset some of our professors on campus because most of the professors are outstanding. But there's a small group that think, we don't need athletics. Can you imagine what a campus would be without an athletic program? It gets the students enthused. It gets them there. It gets them excited about being there. And I just can't imagine a campus without athletics. And Melinda has been an outstanding supporter of Keene State athletics, not only as a student, but as a professor, and obviously in her tenure year as the president of the college. Yeah.
You guys will open your season next month against, at least at home against New England College.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most about not only that matchup, but kind of this season? And how did you assess kind of the freshmen that you brought in this year?
Okay, I'm glad you said freshmen because right now, you know, a baby has to learn to crawl, all right, before it can stagger. And then it has to learn to walk. Well, we're in the crawling stages right now with our freshmen. We have the 8 slots where we can practice before we start official practice. So we have 7 freshmen. So they're trying to get acclimated to the college game. They're enthusiastic. They work hard. I'm excited about that. But we've got some Pampers on the sideline just in case they get a little frustrated. And that's the way it goes. I mean, they're gonna some of them are gonna play for us. They are. They're capable of it, and we're in the figure out stages right now, trying to figure out who's going to be able to play and who isn't. We've been through numerous injuries in the last 3 years, and right now we have 2 freshmen on the sideline because they're hurt. And hopefully they get back in so they can acclimate to what we're doing. But I'm excited about the energy. I think they're practicing hard. They're working hard. Our Achilles heel right now is we're small. We graduated 3 seniors, 3 outstanding seniors, and 2 of them couldn't play most of the year. Kenzie and Ariana couldn't play. Sam did. And they're going to understand, and I told them this, they're going to understand how much pressure Sam took off them because she was our big post, and she negated a lot of the big posts that we played because she could play physical, and that goes unnoticed, but she did a great job of that. And you guys saw it against UMass Dartmouth. I mean, we played them tougher than anybody in the conference, and they won their championship game 94-50. We lost by 12 in the semifinals, and Sam had a lot to do with it. Everybody did. They all competed their butts off, but Sam had a lot to do with that. So now we're trying to figure out how we're going to play with a small lineup, and we'll see how that goes.
And like you mentioned, the season's starting up relatively real soon, beginning of November. What are your set expectations as of right now for this team?
I'd like to think that we're going to compete every night. I mean, if you do nothing else, I think people value work ethic. And we say this almost before every game. You cannot disguise effort, negative or positive. And that's physical and mental effort. So if you go out on the court and you work hard, all right, and you give it everything you have, then people will acknowledge that. If you go out and you don't, and I wish I had the formula for starting slow, all right, or, at the end of the game, coach goes, oh my God, we didn't compete. Well, why was that? We had a good practice the day before. Why didn't we compete well tonight? But we're going to play a different style. You'll see us pressing most of the game, and if you can't get off to a quick start, or you shouldn't be able to start flat that way because we're going to be up pressing all the time. And if somebody isn't doing that, then we're going to run somebody else in because you got to play players when you're doing that. You can't play 5 people. You have to play, and we have numbers this year. So we have 16 players on the roster right now, and a lot of them are going to play if they give the effort mentally and physically that I think they're capable of. So the expectation is that it's going to take us a while to get used to this style. And hopefully, I don't think you know who you are until you get into like the 8th or 9th game of your season. You have a rotation, you see who plays well in different circumstances, and then those are the people that you're going to rely on in crunch time.
All right, well, thank you so much, Coach Boucher, for joining us, and good luck as we get nearer and nearer to the start of the season.
I can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah?
Just make sure that you get some wipes or something to clean off these, so it's not sliding down my head, when I'm putting it on. All right, and I'm going to tell you that hopefully I'll get over there for every game. Last year I didn't for one, and I think my competitive spirit got the best of me. But thanks for everything you do. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
I worked in HVAC when I was in high school, and I really liked being on a job site. When Keene State came to my high school, the admissions counselor told me I could have a job on a job site and also make a difference on people's lives. He said being a safety engineer meant I could work with my hands, but also make sure that everybody was going to be home safely at the end of the day. The safety field is growing rapidly because companies are noticing that keeping their workers healthy means that they can keep their workers working. My plan is to graduate from Keene State so I can get back onto a job site as a safety engineer. It's great because there's jobs to choose from all over the United States, so I can basically go anywhere I want. Keene State is giving me the tools to make that happen.
a single thread is unique. Like each of us, full of purpose and potential. A strand designed to connect, strengthen, and unite. But we face different challenges and have different opportunities. By acknowledging that others may struggle in ways we do not, we can celebrate our differences, embrace each other, and fortify the ties among us. A single thread can fray, yet when it's woven with another, a bond forms. A new strength created by the fabric of the whole. Let's embrace the fabric we make together, the diversity of our threads, to reach beyond ourselves and overcome the impossible. The true power of our game comes from unifying our individual backgrounds, connecting our unique stories, enabling us to be stronger, braver, greater. We can achieve so much more when we are all as one.
What a season. The confetti is going to fall.
Here she goes, and she's got it. How sweet is this, and how wonderful for the sport.
We are Keene State. Here, we believe that everyone is welcome and anything is possible.
Look closer. We are a tight-knit community, an inclusive community, where people can be their true selves. Bring your ability, background, culture, or traditions, whatever makes you you.
You already have what it takes. Welcome to Keene State.
To national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions, with exclusive access.
Turn this music on, we still dancing.
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
All right, we're here now with cheerleading coach Jillian Lawrence. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, Jillian.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
What was your introduction to Keene State as a college like?
So I moved to Keene in 2021, and I really knew nothing about the town. So seeing that it was a college town, I thought that was super, super cool. And I love the size of the college. I love a small college. It's very welcoming, especially the athletic department. It's a family.
And over the years, you guys have started to have a growing program. You have more freshmen fill in. What's it like, kind of that culture here now with the whole team as a whole?
Yeah, so I've only been here for 5 years, so the culture has been, brewing, but it's been great. The freshmen fit in. We start in July and we end in April, so it's kind of a long season. So the athletes work really, really well together. There's a lot of team bonding going on, a lot of culture setting from the upperclassmen, but everything's going really well. It continues to go really well every year, and growing the program is something that I really take pride in.
Yeah, so you guys won't have a championship till March, actually, when you go to UNH. How do you guys kind of go about approaching that in practice, obviously being that it's still a long ways away?
Yeah, so we always have something to prepare for, whether it's a basketball game, women's basketball game, or a men's basketball game. And then on top of that, we're preparing for our competitions, but they're not until basically the end of the year. So keeping the momentum is a huge factor in a successful season. Things kind of died down in like December and January, and we have to work really hard to pick up the momentum in February, get things going again as we get closer to our competitions. But team bonding again and the culture affects a lot of that.
And what got you into cheer, obviously? That's a question I like to ask to all coaches. Why cheer? And how long have you been coaching for?
Yeah, so I started cheerleading when I was a little kid. I was like 5 or 6 years old when I started. And then we kind of transitioned into Pop Warner, which was like the recreational team in my area. And they had the opportunity for a junior coach. So I started coaching cheerleading when I was only about 12 years old and pretty much stuck with it ever since. Keene State is my first collegiate level team, which was super exciting. I got that job super young at 21 years old, and now at 27, it's kind of evolving for me as a coach and seeing my strengths, my weaknesses every single year and being able to evolve and kind of cultivate a good relationship with my cheerleading team and just the sport in general.
Do you have a favorite routine that you guys work on and kind of showcase, especially maybe during the basketball games?
Yeah, so our halftime routines are super fun. They're super important. We work on them as much as we can at practices. This year we're also implementing more timeout routines. So those are super short routines. So be up to a minute long, but we have to learn a bunch of them because there's a bunch of timeouts during a basketball game. So those are super fun that we're doing this year. More stuff, more new things. We have more props. It's very exciting.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hopping on with us. It's a pleasure to have you, and excited for the season to get underway.
Yep. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looking for a new car? It's time to visit New Car Nissan of Keene. 600 new Nissan cars, trucks, and SUVs are available right now. Plus, New Car Nissan of Keene has the most competitive prices. Every new Nissan comes with New Car's complimentary 20-year, 200,000-mile protection plan. Drive worry-free for many miles to come. Visit New Car Nissan of Keene today and discover why everyone loves a new car.
So when I ask students why Keene State, the students say unanimously it's the sense of community. The feel when you walk on this campus is immediately a sense of belonging, a sense of safety, a sense of welcome, and a sense of opportunity and promise. And so I think our students feel that when they come to our campus, and they experience it when they join us. Why students choose this campus is the sense and feel, and also the opportunity and the promise of that opportunity for them when they're making the decision. And why they stay is that we deliver on that promise. We have students from urban environments, from rural environments, and when they come to Keene State in those first weeks of forming a new community, they bring all of those experiences together to create a better Keene State. It's a campus small enough to feel a sense of recognition and identity, and a campus big enough to feel part of something bigger than yourself. This isn't a passive experience, so please get engaged, find a club, make a new group of friends, get involved in a recreational sport activity, in an intramural sport, get involved in a creative performance, go see a show, be a part of this community and squeeze everything you can out of Keene State. And if you do that, I am confident you will have an exceptional experience and your life will be changed as a result of it.
My name is Ali Alzuar. I'm from Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm a nursing major and I play soccer here. I chose to be a nurse because it aligned perfectly with who I am. I'm a social person, I love science, and most importantly, I love helping people. After graduation, I'm going to work as a surgical ICU nurse at Dartmouth-Hitchcock. Keene State has helped enhance my critical thinking skills and has made me a well-rounded person thanks to knowledgeable professors. What excites me most is starting a new chapter and making a difference in my patients' lives.
College sports fans, Get ready for game day with officially licensed merchandise from the NCAA official online shop, ncaa.com/shop. Get the whole family geared up with the best collection of apparel and accessories, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, headwear, championship gear, and more. Visit the NCAA shop for today's special offer and rep your favorite team now. Only at ncaa.com/shop.
Here we're now with swim and dive coach Chris Woolridge. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming on and for being here tonight.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you.
So what was your introduction like overall to Keene State College?
Oh, man. Like back in the beginning?
Yeah. I mean
a little bit last minute. I wasn't sure what I was going to do post-high school. Even though I was in Keene, I didn't know a lot about Keene State. But it just seemed like a good option. I came over and, went from there.
So now with the swim season just starting to get underway, what are some of the things that you've seen so far that, maybe some positives, maybe some things to work on with the team?
Yeah, so we're pretty young this year. So we had a big group of freshmen that came in, and probably the biggest, I don't know if concern is the right word, but the biggest thing you're looking for is how well everybody is going to kind of come together when you have that large young group. We've had good leadership from our upperclassmen, and everybody seems tight. And we're just kind of getting working. We're wrapping up the end of like our third week. So, mainly I want to see them come together, start to put together, practices that kind of pertain to what their end of season goals are. And they've been doing a good job with that.
You guys have a pretty lengthy season. Obviously, you start usually here in October in the fall and then go kind of through the winter, from what I remember. How do you kind of train the athletes or get the athletes ready for kind of such a long year?
Yeah, it's always a little difficult, right? Because no matter how prepared they are, it's still very long. So we try and remember that in the front end of the season. Don't rush things too much. Be patient, lay some foundational skills. And then as we get into our competition season in October and November, with all the dual meets, we kind of ramp that up and we focus on the racing on Saturdays. And then we got a big mid-season meet in December, that they kind of gets them excited. We focus on that. So a little light at the end of the tunnel as we get through. October and November are really probably our hardest months of training.
And obviously being here for, some time now, is there a culture still, coming up, or is there a culture that's been defined really here at Keene State?
So culture is the attitudes of the group of people that you have. So culture's always changing. And for me, that means we need to consistently work on culture, right? If you leave it to chance, you don't know what you're going to get, and that's really not acceptable in the coaching world. So we work on it a lot. We work when we have new people come in. We work to bring them on board with that culture. But it's ever evolving. It's never set in stone.
What is maybe a meet this year that you are really looking forward to as a team? Is there one kind of in particular?
We put it might be a little infamous by the time we're done. We put a new meet on the schedule. We've got some affiliate members in the Little East. We're going to go up to Maine in November, and it should be a long bus ride. We have never swam them. We're going to swim Husson. Maine Maritime, I think, is going to come over for a tri-meet. So that's something new, something we were looking to do, make sure we swim more of our affiliate members. So I'm really looking forward to that meet, just something different.
And one last question. From last year to this year, are there any, say, improvements or maybe some areas that you filled in terms of positions or certain strokes that you needed?
Oh, that's a good question. When you have people that leave, it's hard to fill their spot completely with new people that come in. But we've got a good freshman crew, first-year crew, and we were able to load up. Like on the men's side, we had Aaron Turgeon graduate last year. He was obviously a major player. You're not going to replace that guy with one guy, with one freshman. But we got some guys showed some really good sprint promise at the alumni meet, which is not exactly high stakes, but times don't lie. So I think that's something that we're really going to look forward to seeing how it develops over the course of an entire season.
Awesome. And maybe what would you say is kind of the end goal for this year as we head closer to the season?
Certainly for the women, they won last year, and we graduated a big class, but that doesn't mean that the goal is not to try and win again. Men were middle of the pack, and we're going to look to move up from that. Hopefully at least be in the top 3.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Coach, for joining us, and good luck as your season gets underway.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
We know you will find your community along Appian Way here at Keene State College. Over a campfire on the Student Center lawn. In some friendly games and competition. Or in a club you connect to at the Student Involvement Fair. Maybe you will find your people on the courts, in a cheering section in the stands, at the rink on the ice, skating as an owl, or chilling in the yoga studio. Your connections may take place on the quad, listening to music, hanging out with friends, participating in a Keene State tradition like Pumpkin Palooza, or working on a group project, studying with classmates. Maybe your talents will bring you together with your community on one of our stages, in the main theater, or the recital hall at the Red Fern Arts Center. For us, community is all about the people you meet and the connections you make. At Keene State, our community is really about you.
My name is Zachary Irving. I am a business management and finance major. After I graduate, I am going up to Bar Harbor, Maine. I'm going to work as a climbing guide for Acadia Mountain Guides. I'm going to get to be outdoors all the time and really do what I'm passionate about, which is teaching other people how to rock climb and showing them the places that I'm passionate about. Keene State allowed me to pursue my passions in a way that convinced me to pursue them for my career, and I'm glad that I'll be able to continue doing that afterwards.
All right, we are here now with Coach Rob Morgan of women's ice hockey. Thank you, Coach, for joining us, and pleasure to have you here.
Great to be here. We've got an outstanding crowd, and here we go. It's hockey season right around the corner.
Yeah, it's coming up very, very soon. Beginning of next month? Or actually, end of this month.
Yeah, end of this month. We'll start practicing full-time starting next week. We've got 2 more flex day skates left, and the team's looking pretty good so far.
So this is obviously your second season in the second year of the program, which is obviously brand new last year. But what was your introduction to Keene State like?
Oh, it's amazing. I absolutely love this college. The community is incredibly supportive. We have a outstanding staff that really get behind each other's programs, and certainly the spirit on the community, the campus community, and surrounding communities. They're all about the Owls. So. Let's go.
And, obviously stepping into the second year of this program, you guys now are sitting in the Little East Conference. You have something to play for. What is the energy in the locker room kind of leading up to these, last few weeks towards the season?
Well, they're super excited about having a conference to play in, especially the Little East Conference. And there's so much history and pride that is here at Keene State. They know that it's going to be a tough conference. I know people on the outside have been, sort of maybe thinking we might not be as strong in terms of RPI and things of that nature. But, when you look at, the schools that are in our conference and how well they've been competing over the past 5 years, especially someone like Norwich being with us, when you have programs like that, it raises the level of competition, depth of talent within the programs across the board. So, the team's incredibly excited and can't wait to get going. And, that first game will be great for us. We get to go on the road and see where we're at early in the season.
Well, if I believe I'm correct, you have a couple of your senior players from last year returning for another year this year. What is that like, having them come back, especially when you're trying to build a new program, new culture?
Well, we don't know for sure yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we are still waiting to hear whether or not they're going to get that year of eligibility back. But I tell you what, if we're able to get both Paige and Haley back into our lineup, it's going to definitely be a real difference maker for us. They did an outstanding job bringing the experience that they had with them from their previous school and all the things that they had learned prior to coming here and then helping us grow the program. So it would just be really nice for them, especially for our program, if they could be with us and be a part of playing for an actual conference championship.
And also, kind of adding to that, how do you feel about the new class that you were able to bring in for this coming season?
They look really good right now. Especially I think Emily Edmondson has really stood out so far, and Lorelai's done a great job. They all look really good. They skate well. They handle the puck well. The biggest challenge always for the first years is how quickly do they adapt to the college game. And so the thing that's most exciting is that they work incredibly hard. They're all very coachable. And they've got the support from the returning players behind them. So it's really exciting time right now for Keene State women's ice hockey.
You touched earlier on strong teams in your conference, but also out of conference as well. You guys still have those good opponents in your non-conference schedule. Specifically last year, you played Williams and Bowdoin. You play them again this year. You mentioned how playing those types of teams, it builds you, it makes you stronger. How do you think that has an effect in year two?
Well, it's going to be another measuring stick for us, but I know we don't have short memories. We got they know what it was like to be on the receiving end in those games, and it's always fun to be able to play an opponent like that and see just how much you've improved from the previous time that we played them. And again, both those teams are going to be up there in the top 15, top 20 of the country. So it's going to be a good measure for us. We play them midway through the season. The other thing is with the NESCAC being as strong as they are, if you can get some points off of those teams, that's going to help us with our national rankings.
Yeah. You guys played very well at home last year. You went 8-4 there. What was it like to be able to play in a place like Keene Ice, and now with some of the extra stuff that they've done going into this year, what are you looking forward to?
Well, it's a place that they're incredibly proud of. We didn't have a locker room facility for the first half of the season, and now they have that there, and it's a place that they're incredibly proud of. And all the workers at Keene Ice are outstanding people. Everyone's behind the program. We have great fans that come out and support our games. And what I like a lot about Keene Ice, the ice is actually really fast. Like some rinks, the ice is a little bit slower. Depends on how they keep the temperature of it and how well they maintain it. But this ice here is fast, and for our team, it's going to obviously bode really well for us.
And are there any games on the schedule that you're really looking forward to? Maybe some home conference games. Now, in my opinion, maybe Plymouth State. They come back. You guys played them last year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all the games, but we want to make sure that we have that in-state rival highlighted on our calendar. Like that's an opponent that we want to take control of the lead in our career series, you know, but Norwich is a team that we're excited to play against. They gave us a pretty good licking last year, and we're a much different team than we were back then, and also Castleton is another team that we thought that in our second time that we played them, we probably could have deserved better outcome, but they scored one more goal than us and ended up winning the game. But we can't wait to get going, and we got a great young group of people to work with that are 100% committed to reaching their full potential.
Obviously, most of your games this year will be in the LEC now that you're officially part of it. What are your hopes maybe for year two, especially year one now being in a conference?
Well, we're going to continue to focus on getting better each day and reaching our full potential. But no doubt about it, although we're year two as a program, we want to be competing for the championship at the end of the year. And it really doesn't matter where we fall in the standings. Every team is going to make the playoffs this year. So for us, it's just about making sure that when the games matter most, come playoff time, that we're playing our best hockey.
All right, well, thank you, Coach, for joining us. And
Thank you.
Good luck on this upcoming season. Look forward to being at Keene Ice once again.
You bet. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. I worked in HVAC when I was in high school, and I really liked being on a job site. When Keene State came to my high school, the admissions counselor told me I could have a job on a job site and also make a difference on people's lives. He said being a safety engineer meant I could work with my hands, but also make sure that everybody was going to be home safely at the end of the day. The safety field is growing rapidly because companies are noticing that keeping their workers healthy means that they can keep their workers working. My plan is to graduate from Keene State so I can get back onto a job site as a safety engineer. It's great because there's jobs to choose from all over the United States, so I can basically go anywhere I want. Keene State is giving me the tools to make that happen.
So when I ask students why Keene State, the students say unanimously it's the sense of community. The feel when you walk on this campus is immediately a sense of belonging, a sense of safety, a sense of welcome, and a sense of opportunity and promise. And so I think our students feel that when they come to our campus, and they experience it when they join us. Why students choose this campus is the sense and feel, and also the opportunity and the promise of that opportunity for them when they're making the decision. And why they stay is that we deliver on that promise. We have students from urban environments, from rural environments, and when they come to Keene State in those first weeks of forming a new community, they bring all of those experiences together to create a better Keene State. It's a campus small enough to feel a sense of recognition and identity, and a campus big enough to feel part of something bigger than yourself. This isn't a passive experience, so please get engaged, find a club, make a new group of friends, get involved in a recreational sport activity, in an intramural sport, get involved in a creative performance, go see a show, be a part of this community and squeeze everything you can out of Keene State. And if you do that, I am confident you will have an exceptional experience and your life will be changed as a result of it.
My name is Irini Stefanakos. I am an environmental studies graduate from Keene State. I did an internship my senior year. The best part for me was learning really what I want to do with my life, with my education. That internship really gave me the confidence and experience to go out and land a job as an aquatic biologist for water and wetlands in Grafton, Massachusetts. I typically spend my days collecting basic water quality data to monitor the health of these ponds and lakes, and it's actually really cool and I'm enjoying it a lot.
All right, here now with men's basketball coach Stephen Enright. Coach, thank you so much for joining the program.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Should be a lot of fun as you guys get ready for the 2025-26 season, but I want to start with what was your introduction like to Keene State? Obviously, you're in now your second year as head coach.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I when I got here, it was a lot of figuring things out on the fly, figuring out our personnel. We have very established personnel. When I first took the job, I guess I could say, like, Octavio was in the transfer portal, so we had to figure that out first. But once we solidified him coming back and knowing that the production that the senior class that graduated, had and had in the past and winning that they've done, it was really just about me acclimating myself to them, the place, and then identifying needs. And I think we were able to get some guys to bolster last year's efforts and tie that all together and try to find the right balance of sticking with what works at Keene State as well as, infusing my own philosophies into what was already here to try to make us better.
And, those philosophies that you implemented, they kind of carried on the legacy. Won your fourth straight LEC tournament. No team's ever done that in the LEC. But then you lose those three seniors. You lose Aronson. Four of them as well, yeah. And so, you mentioned trying to fill those holes, getting those players. What was it like trying to do that?
Yeah, I think, we had this in mind. Again, I got to flash back to spring 2024 when I first got here. We knew, when you're looking at roster construction, right, you have, four really established high-level seniors, guys that have been, key pieces for a winning program for a long time. We had, I think it was 5 at the time, incoming freshmen committed to the last staff. But we were really thin in between. We had a small sophomore class last year. We had a small junior class before infusing some transfers. So when we were looking at that, we said, hey, we got to go get transfers with 2 or 3 years to play. And I think you saw that last year with Mitchell Shettles and Josh Williams and Ryan Blakey and Leo Chaikin and those guys. And I don't think we're as successful as we were if we didn't go get that depth. And I was looking at it from a standpoint of, okay, in the history of this program, when Ty Nichols graduated and that crew graduated, it became a rebuilding year of, hey, 10 wins in 1920, and we wanted to avoid that. We wanted to avoid that rebuild. We wanted to keep ourselves competitive. So I thought, okay, let's get some pieces that are going to fit with the current group, that are going to have enough experience and enough talent to maybe grow into bigger roles the following year. And I think we're seeing that with several of those guys. So, yeah, we certainly wanted to continue the legacy and obviously win 4 straight. But now, God bless Nate and Mason and Spencer and Octavio. I love those guys. But now it's time for number 5, and they're not here. They're in the real world. So, we got to figure it out. And so I like our group that you're going to see this year. It's going to be different. You'll see a lot of familiar faces. You'll see some new faces as well. We'll have to make some schematic changes to fit this year's personnel, but I think we're really talented, and it's on us as a coaching staff to push the right buttons and infuse the pieces and make it happen in 25-26.
You guys obviously, you had a good year last year, won your 4th, like we were talking about, 4th LEC title in a row. And then you lost in the second round of the NCAAs to the eventual champion Trinity.
Yeah.
How would you kind of assess your first year as head coach? Would you say it was a success, or would you say you're hungry for more certainly this year?
It's both. It's certainly a success because, I think we were able to, keep the train on the tracks when I got here and, make us better. People don't necessarily think about the fact that, we lost arguably the best big in the country. going into my first year here. So there were 2 All-Americans here in 23-24. And I think there's a couple regular season games that I wish we could have back, because then I don't think maybe we see a Trinity in the second round of the NCAA tournament, or have to go to Trinity per se. But yeah, we won 4 straight, and Octavio Brito became National Player of the Year, and I think that our development plan had something to do with that as well.
And you mentioned, some games you wanted back, especially in the conference schedule. You come in the conference, you still are, I would say, the clear-cut favorite, but how can you still balance those games and kind of manage those late-season conference games, especially going into the LEC tournament and eventually the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think if you look back to our 2 conference losses last year, right? So both games we lost by 1 point on the road on the other team's senior night to the second and third best teams in our league. Again, by 1 point with, I'll say this nicely, questionable officiating decisions at the end of the game. Okay, so, and then we didn't play our best in either of those games. So it took a lot to beat us in those 2 conference games, is what I'm saying. So I think it's that. I think, I don't think we handled ourselves great on the Wisconsin trip. I think the timing of that scheduling wasn't the best, post-Christmas to do that, but, we have to do a better job than we did out there. Tufts is certainly one that I wish we could have back. We're up at the half there, and Tufts did a great job, as I'm thinking back to that game, making some adjustments at the half and hitting us with a zone. Had Tufts stayed man in that game, I think we'd probably score 105 points, the way that was going offensively for us. So, so that's one that you look back, okay, hey, I wish we could have that one. But, at the end of the day, it's not really about that. It's about, okay, you take your off season, you make the adjustments you need to make. My job is to put our current personnel that we've built in the best situation possible to be successful, and I think we're going to do that going into this year.
Yeah, now speaking of Tufts, you guys will have them on the home schedule again this year. Is that a game maybe that, even though it's non-conference, that you kind of have on your mind going into this year, trying to finish the deal?
Yeah, I mean, everything's one at a time. Like our non-conference schedule this coming year is going to be the most challenging that Keene State's ever played. We're in 2 tournaments, one of which we're hosting, one of which we're traveling to Virginia for as our opener. So we have 11 possible opponents for 9 games because of the tournament. 9 of those 11 opponents went to the NCAA tournament last year. So we are playing several NESCAC teams. We're playing 2 ODAC teams, which is a top 3 league nationally out of Virginia. We have a chance to maybe get Wisconsin lacrosse again in Virginia in a neutral site. We have WPI on the schedule. We have Nichols on the schedule. We have St. Joe's, Maine on the schedule, who won the GNAC. We have an unbelievably difficult non-conference schedule, and that's not by accident. So Tufts is one of many, I think, nationally relevant teams, or teams that will be nationally ranked in our non-league schedule. So, I think it's step by step, right? I can think of the front half of the season. You're really worried about that non-league schedule and trying to get some quality wins, because we've lined ourselves up with opportunities to do so. But then once you get into Little East play, we want number 5. Just because we graduated 5,500 career points, 4-time champions, and the National Player of the Year, doesn't mean that we don't believe in the next group, the 25-26 version of Keene State men's basketball, to go win number 5.
Some players on the team this year, who do you see taking leaps from last year?
Yeah, so I think it'll be a combination of familiar faces that played minutes last year, maybe some guys that were on the team last year and weren't ready that are ready to be on the floor in games now, and some new faces completely, to Keene State basketball. So we have to infuse new and returning. I think with the returning guys, you'll see Wes Odiasi more in his natural position. Had to play small ball 5 for us a lot last year, just the way our team was built, and that was where the majority of his minutes came. This year, he'll be more on the wing and more in his natural position, so we're expecting him to have a big junior year. Mitchell Shettles is a really good player, really high-level shooter. I think he'll have a big role for us this year. I think people could see what Ryan Blakey could do and how he could take over a game in maybe 10, 12 minutes of playing time. So I think you expect, if he's healthy, to have a big influx of him, when we get to it. Josh Williams is a steady guy. Leo Chaikin, very steady guy. Liam Johnson will be a senior. Isaac Ogatugo will be a junior and is more mature. And I think, ready to contribute more than he would have been as an underclassman. And then I think, as far as guys, you didn't really see rotation last year. We have some young bigs that, weren't necessarily ready as freshmen. I think the one that stands out right now, Dennis Wainana, he's 6'10", he's super athletic, he's a rim protector through and through, and just wasn't quite physically ready as a freshman, but we think as a sophomore, from what we've seen in our preseason practices, he's made a huge jump. Physically, he's more ready, he's bigger and stronger than he was as a freshman, and athletically, he's been super impactful in practice. So I'm excited to watch his development continue and think that he could certainly carve out a role for himself as a sophomore. As far as new guys go, we took 8 new guys. So we have 5 transfers and 3 freshmen incoming. Transfer-wise, we have 2 guys that were direct from another Division III, and both guys were rookies of the year in their respective conferences before they transferred to Keene State, one being Henry Perkins, who came from Hartwick and is a legit big, 6'8", 280 pounds, and he was Rookie of the Year in the Empire 8 out of upstate New York. And Jordan Cooper, really athletic combo guard, comes to Keene State from Bridgewater College, where I coached him as a freshman, and he was ODAC Rookie of the Year during that season and was their leading scorer as a freshman and as a sophomore. So I think he'll give us a big boost in the backcourt. We have 2 transfers that came from Division II. One's a guy with some local ties, some legacy ties, and Kareem Porter Jr., whose dad, Kareem Porter Sr., played here at Keene State, was a great player in the late 90s. Kareem's 6'8", legit big, and came from Franklin Pierce Division II. And then Sam Medali is a sophomore guard who, as a freshman last year, started 7 games at Newman University in Kansas, which is a Division II and arguably the best Division II league in the country out there in the Midwest. So, he's a proven guy at a high level, he's a full scholarship guy out there. So I think he's capable of giving a boost to us. And then the 5th transfer is a guy named Gabe Marquis, who originally from Concord, New Hampshire, actually moved to North Carolina when he was a 7th or an 8th grader, and he's coming from a Division I junior college situation down there. So he's excited to come home. And freshman-wise, 2 guards, both starting point guards in the really high-level NEPSAC AA prep school conference as postgrads, and a public school guy named Johan Valdez, who 6'5" wing. I think he'll be a really good long-term piece for us out of New Bedford, Mass. So really like our roster, like our talent, like our size and athleticism, and now it's on us as a staff to put it all together and put the best product on the floor we can.
I think it goes probably without saying that your goal, at the very least, is to win the LEC again this year. But I guess I'll ask it anyway. What are kind of your goals for this season?
Your goal, no matter how the previous season went, is always to be better than you were last year. And I don't think people maybe necessarily are expecting me to say something like that with, how successful we were last year in the last couple years. But you want to be better than you were the previous year, so that's the goal. So our guys know that. We talk about it all the time. Octavio Brito's a professional basketball player now. Like Mason's still trying to play. Nate and Spencer out in the real world. Like, those guys are great. They're not here anymore. We love them. They're going to be great alums. But now it's time to try to make the 25-26 version of Keene State men's basketball better than the 24-25 version was. And we could win a national championship. I'd still say the same thing. There's always different ways you could, improve upon and try to get better.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach Enright, for joining us. And
I was going to say, too, like, the fact that I got this headset on means that basketball season is really close, so I'm super excited about that.
It's right around the corner.
And I get to hang out and talk with you guys with the headset on, so good stuff. Well, thanks for chatting with me, guys. Appreciate it. We're looking forward, and a month from Tuesday is our first game, so it's going to be here before you know it.
More than
November
excited.
15th, Saturday, November 15th will be the home opener against Western New England, so we're excited about that as well.
All right.
And I feel like it's funny, too, because, like, you think of how it was outside today. It's like 80 degrees, and I'm like, we're talking about the winter sports. But, hey, I mean, it's coming up fast. So.
Yeah, it'll be here soon enough, so super excited.
All right, well, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Looking for a new car? It's time to visit New Car Nissan of Keene. 600 new Nissan cars, trucks, and SUVs are available right now. Plus, New Car Nissan of Keene has the most competitive prices. Every new Nissan comes with new cars complimentary 20-year, 200,000-mile protection plan. Drive worry-free for many miles to come. Visit New Car Nissan of Keene today and discover why everyone loves a new car.
A single thread is unique. Like each of us, full of purpose and potential. A strand designed to connect, strengthen, and unite. But we face different challenges and have different opportunities. By acknowledging that others may struggle in ways we do not, we can celebrate our differences, embrace each other, and fortify the ties among us. A single thread can fray, yet when it's woven with another, a bond forms. A new strength created by the fabric of the whole. Let's embrace the fabric we make together, the diversity of our threads, to reach beyond ourselves and overcome the impossible. The true power of our game comes from unifying our individual backgrounds, connecting our unique stories, enabling us to be stronger, braver, greater. We can achieve so much more when we are all as one.
What a season. The confetti is going to fall.
There she goes, and she's got it. How sweet is this, and how wonderful for the sport.
So when I ask students, why Keene State, the students say unanimously it's the sense of community. The feel when you walk on this campus is immediately a sense of belonging, a sense of safety, a sense of welcome, and a sense of opportunity and promise. And so I think our students feel that when they come to our campus, and they experience it when they join us. Why students choose this campus is the sense and feel, and also the opportunity and the promise of that opportunity for them when they're making the decision. And why they stay is that we deliver on that promise. We have students from urban environments, from rural environments, and when they come to Keene State in those first weeks of forming a new community, they bring all of those experiences together to create a better Keene State. It's a campus small enough to feel a sense of recognition and identity, and a campus big enough to feel part of something bigger than yourself. This isn't a passive experience, so please get engaged, find a club, make a new group of friends, get involved in a recreational sport activity, in an intramural sport, get involved in a creative performance, go see a show, be a part of this community and squeeze everything you can out of Keene State. And if you do that, I am confident you will have an exceptional experience and your life will be changed as a result of it.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight on this winter edition of Meet the Coaches 2025 as we head into the winter seasons for all these teams and also continue the fall seasons as well. As Teddy, we got a couple games coming up this week.
Yeah, field hockey's home Tuesday night. Men's soccer returns home Wednesday night. You can catch those here on the Owls Media Network, brought to you on Flow Sports. We are more than excited for the winter season as it's only weeks away at this point. Men's hockey, men's basketball starting up soon. The other sports will follow right behind it. So thanks for watching. It was a pleasure to be with you, Ryan, here this evening.
Yeah, same as well to you, Teddy, and thank you so much to Brickhouse Pizza and Wings once again for hosting us. They hosted the fall event as well, and we'll have the spring event probably on the other side of the new year. So once again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and Ryan Goodwin, Teddy Steinberg, everybody here, have a good night.
Go Owls.
Go Owls.
You have been watching a Keene State Athletics broadcast on the Owls Media Network. Please tune in to our next broadcast, and thank you for watching.